Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Crypto Night Show. Your host Superman in the house for another daily dose of crypto. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, of course, Ethereum, and Pulsechain in particular. We've got some specific news items to cover as well. Looks like Trump's got a ceasefire extension in place with Iran to get those talks in place. Looks like Iran's got a little bit of conflict in the leadership between the foreign ministers, political appointees, and the RIGC military. Looks like there's a few things going on there. So I guess a little bit more time to try and get over the line, making a deal with the devil, as it were. So that can always be tricky. So we'll see how we go, see how we get on there. Now, if you guys haven't, of course, subscribed on the way in, we're streaming on 3 YouTube channels, the Crypto Night Show, Superman Crypto, and Pulsechain X. Smash the subscribe button. And if you're on X, of course, don't forget to hit the follow. And if you're watching on X, don't forget also to hit the repost button. It helps a lot. So I'm just going to pin that to the top of the profile for the current show. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Pulsechain markets. Tom Lee Bull. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And, of course, LibertySwap and Emit and TruFarm as well. Going to be in the mix. So I hope you guys enjoy that. It's going to be a bit of fun. Some pretty awesome, exciting things. LibertySwap has got 3 products they're rolling out this month. I mean, we've only got, a week to go approximately. And Emit and TruFarm offering super high yields in farming on Pulsechain, which is pretty exciting. So I think a lot of people are enjoying those high yields, which is pretty neat. All right, so without further ado, let's trump into it. Did you like that one? I would trump into this and check out the markets right now on stock market. And let's see where we are. So Trump extends US-Iran ceasefire even as further peace talks come to a standstill there. Obviously a bit of conflict, as I say, between, maybe some of the political appointees and the RIGC military there as they consolidate power during the ceasefire. It's, you're trying to get a win out of it, but you're also giving them a chance to, after killing off a lot of their leadership, getting them reform again, and they get a bit of confidence, right? Get a bit of confidence there. I think that's where they might be at the moment. So we'll see whether we can get over the line. Obviously, quite a few politicians thinking, well, I don't really want to be assassinated. I don't want to be that. We want to survive, and so we've got a lot of things there. And of course, they don't want the resistance movement in Iran to start taking them off as they have started to begin to do. So a lot of things happening there. We've got Matt and Bali in house there at Superman. Hey, great to see you, Matt and Bali. Like your little your profile pic there with the old Liberty lady, looking good. So yeah, let's have a look at the markets overnight with Dow Jones down 0.6%, 293 points there at 49,149. And then we've got the S&P 500 down a similar amount, about 0.63%, 45 points to 7,064. And then we've got the Nasdaq there down 0.6%, 144 points to 24,259 at the moment. So if we look at the last year, we can see that we're still coming off all-time highs for Nasdaq, and the S&P 500 is at new highs. Look at that, beautiful, over 7,000 there. And then the Dow Jones has still got a bit of work to do, not quite at the all-time high back in February, over 50,000, right? So a little bit of work to do there, but pretty amazing rally, isn't it? Pretty amazing rally. We got the US dollar at the moment is sitting at 98.18, sort of a comfortable level there for the US dollar. We look at the US dollar over the last year. When Trump came in, it was 108, and we've peaked out at 100 with risk-off issues, and then of course we've had lots, the tariffs and obviously Iranian war and things like that. Trump's obviously fixing up a lot of issues that have been outstanding for decades. Remember, liberals and progressives, particularly liberals, all the way through the 90s. For those old enough to remember, the 2000s, 2010s started drifting. Liberals started getting pushed to the middle, pushed out because the progressive movement started moving up, and that was, of course, incredibly evil and destructive. And that's what we have today with a lot of the Western leaders, thinking about Macron, Starmer in the UK, all these people like that, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, they're all the same, right? They're all progressive globalist Marxist ideologies, all pretty evil, pretty destructive, right? Destroying the West. And so we've had these idiots, absolute idiots, in power and destroying the West for the last couple of decades, obviously targeting our children and everything else, all the other sort of wicked things we've been doing. This is sort of finally we got someone like Trump coming in and doing the common sense and dealing with a lot of the issues. So it gives us a lot of short-term volatility as he's dealing with issue by issue with issue. Also, he's dealing with big major geopolitical plays against China. Obviously, we've seen him already, take out a lot of Chinese allies one by one to fence in China because China was getting emboldened, and they could cause a third world war with the Taiwan takeover, and as well as the sea around there as well. So there's lots of issues going on here all simultaneously. Obviously, we also got Trump doing a bigger picture around the greater United States. We're talking about Greenland and Alaska, potentially breaking off parts of Canada if Alberta, gets to succeed from Canada. We've got lots of things happening there in that space, as well as in South America, getting rid of obviously Chinese influence, as well as opening up the trade routes and getting rid of basically dictators inside South America, dealing with China's influence, as well as the drug trade as well. So you got Trump is doing a lot of stuff that should have been done a long time ago, and this is only good. And I think once we get through the Iranian issue, obviously there's Cuba out there at the moment. There'll be a few more things, but I think we should be able to settle down enough to get a lot more better security and then prosperity moving forward. So that's kind of some of the lay of the land right now, and it's good to see, right? Good to see. We also see Trump versus NATO. And of course, all these globalist, pretty much traders, right, that were out there. And this could be a twofold strategy. There's twofold strategy, but we're not going to get into that now around that. But that is some of the things that are going on in the bigger picture. Let's go to commodities right now. Commodities, we got West Texas is at just below $90, down 0.25%. So we have come off the highs. We're up at about $112, $113. West Texas, and we're coming down there to get back to normal state, probably around about $60 to $62. It's probably where we might get to normal state, maybe even 65. So we've still got about 30 to 25 to $30 to shave off the oil price to get back to sort of business as usual. But that's coming down. It's coming down. So arguably we're already down. What's that? $26 off the high there. So it's coming down. Obviously, the market wants security around the Strait of Hormuz, and there's a couple of stages for that potentially to occur. Hopefully, it's going to be one stage that is a peace deal done. But a peace deal's got to be right? You can't just have a stupid deal. You're making a deal with the devil after all. So we'll see. Brent oil at the moment is down a little bit too, almost 1%. Is at $98.35. And you can see in the charts, pretty similar story there. Gold at the moment is up 1%, $50 to $4,770. Certainly off the highs there, and it's got lower highs, right? So not looking too great is gold in my view. And of course, I'm expecting some rotation there as well. Silver similar. We had the peaks out. We've got lower highs as well, sitting at $77. I know silver is going to be used a lot in technology moving forward, but that doesn't really relate directly to the chart too much. We have about 10% inflation a year on silver, about 1.5% on gold. So they're both inflationary from that point of view. But the silver use, even though it's in modern electronics, does take time to ramp up there. So the price, if the price goes up 3x, that's not just because supply is increasing. Sorry, demand is increasing for supply, but the market's doing their thing, right? Speculative value in there. So some interesting stuff. So that is where we are. Copper at the moment, of course, a great indicator of the economy, is also up slightly as well. And that is up at $6 at the moment. So there we go. And it's not too far away from all-time highs there, I think. Let me have a look at Max chart. Yeah, that's right. So not too far there from the all-time highs is the old copper there. And copper also massively in demand for modern economy, right? All right, so let's jump over to some of the comments here. We've got Fast Abdul in the house there. I'm here for the tech. Hey, great to see you, Fast Abdul. Big shout out. And we got Shin in the house there. I'm here. I'm just here. It says Shin. That's pretty funny. We got Matt says, I hope you are my profile name change on the horizon. It's Matt in Oz at the moment, Bali in 2 weeks, but probably switching islands, says Matt. That's pretty funny. I'm here for green candles, ladies, liquor, and leverage, says Matt. Hope you're well. Text should have been above. Yeah, indeed it was. We got Sandy Beach in the house as well. Hey, Superman and everybody. Sorry, Sandy Beach, I couldn't get to talk about your comments yesterday about Hog with the dog character and your superpower. No doubt it's around your hair, is it? Your Sandy has the most beautiful blonde hair, like summer shimmer. So I don't know if it's around that. So the superpower, let us know, because we had Vouch on yesterday, one of the biggest project calls on Pulsechain. So if you haven't checked out the interview, definitely check it out. Yesterday was great. Jexer was amazing. Sandy Beach in the house there. Yes. It was. Yeah, indeed. It was indeed. Yeah, I didn't want to get off topic too much with the Vouch coverage. So I had to demur that so much. Thank you so much. You're welcome there, Sandy. And a big shout out. All right. So that's kind of where we are with the markets right now. We got a few things there. President Trump on Tuesday said he would extend the ceasefire between the United States and Iran until such a time as Tehran would be able to present a unified negotiating proposal. Obviously, there's a lot of issues there. The move came after media reported hints at a breakdown in more planned peace talks between the two countries, based on the fact the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, and upon the request of Field Marshal Asim Munir and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan, we have been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. I have therefore directed our military to continue the blockade and in other respects remain ready and able, and will therefore extend the ceasefire until such time as the proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded one way or the other. Now, the other thing behind the military is I understand that the 30 aircraft carrier, I think, has arrived in the area. I think they had to go all the way around the African, the Horn of Africa, at the bottom of Africa there, all the way around for safety, ironically enough. And I think that has arrived. So that's a third aircraft carrier. That is a massive ramp up in firepower. So the pressure is even more. All right. So that's kind of where things are at the moment. We'll see how we get on there. So we're looking forward to progress there in the markets. I guess they're just in the holding patterns a lot. Now, let's jump over to crypto. Crypto at the moment is holding up pretty resilient. And of course, has generally been the best performing since the beginning of the war. It's been Ethereum and Bitcoin, along with software companies. We have crypto at the moment at 2.648 trillion, up 0.3%. And so we're still at the beginning of a new re-rate, and a dramatic one. And so let's have a look where we are on Bitcoin. Bitcoin's at 76,300, holding up pretty nicely there, up 0.5% in the last 24 hours, 2.9% for the week, so still green for the week there. Ethereum at number 2 is up 0.2%, $2,322, is actually down 0.5% for the week, so just down a little bit. So kind of holding pattern for Ethereum, really. XRP is flat at $1.43, up 4.9% for the week. BNB at number 5 is up 0.3% at $632, up 3% for the week. Solana is up 1% at $86.27, up 3% for the week. Tron is up 1.5%, I should say, at 33.3 cents, up 3.1% for the week. And then Doge is down 0.7% at 9.5 cents, at up 2.1%. Now, maybe the only reason Ethereum's down is because of the Aave incident. Maybe that's a big impact on that, with the Aave being affected by the bridge and the wrapped ETH, the ETH getting taken out of it by lending, right? So it's kind of play. It does turn out that Arbitrum did apparently put a hold on some of the funds that had been stolen, pretty significant amount. Just can't remember the amount on top of my head. Let me know in the chat if you guys remember. But that was pretty interesting. Obviously, it also shows you how it's not real DeFi. They can hold the coins, but obviously it's a public good to protect that ETH. We'll see how we go. So that's pretty interesting. The other big thing that we saw overnight was we saw, I think, was it Tether? I think it was USDC. I can't remember. I think it was USDC. We had another $1.5 billion, I think, of stablecoins issued. So that's more money to flush around the system, I guess. So that's pretty cool. So, the Genius Act there has been playing out pretty well since last year with lots of stablecoin issuance on Ethereum, making Ethereum ultimately way more valuable in the future. So we've got a bit of a tit for tat right now between one of the hardcore DeFi protocols, Aave, and Aave itself is fine, but it was the bridge getting exploited and then taking the ETH out via the lending. So that was pretty scary stuff. So we'll see how we get on from there. All right, so that is crypto. Let's have a look at Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin is sitting obviously over the 200-day moving average. 200-day moving average is here on the week. There's the weekly candles, by the way. The weekly average, I should say, is 200 is sitting at 68,444, and we've got the 50 weekly average there at 88,000. No, sorry, 80. What is that out there? $86,200. So there we go. We're sitting in the middle right now. I've got this box here, and we're kind of trying to break out of this box area, and we're getting there. We're slowly getting there. So we're almost getting there over the weekly there. Let's go to the daily, have a look at that for Bitcoin. And we are over the 50 daily moving average, which is currently at 72,300. And we have the 200 moving average at 82,600. Now, I have seen commentators talk about 79,000 kind of in key, but really it's actually this mark here, right? This 200 moving average at 82,600 is the key mark there. That's kind of our next target. We want to get over that, and so we can move higher, right? That's where we're going. And we've got so many catalysts helping us do that, of course. So I think you could feel pretty optimistic about where we're going there. And we're also on Bitcoin here trying to push out of this box, right? This range that we're kind of in. The all-time low, well, not all-time low, but the local low. Hopefully, this is the low for the bear market after the last bull market, and that is at 60K. Hopefully, that's it on right now. And we've got we're sitting at 76. Pretty interesting little battle going on here. We bounced 2 days. We bounced off 73,700. Look at that. And we've got higher lows coming in, here, high low at 70,800, high lows at 73,700. So we are slowly pushing out of this band, and hopefully we'll get to move up over this 82,000 mark, 500, and then start pushing up, back against this range here that we had before, which arguably was about 85,000. So hopefully we can get that consolidation and move up there. You guys know that we get a lot of green candles and red candles, the big ones, in a small number of days, 10, 20, 30 days of the year. So let's see where we go from there. Now we've got structural support going on, right? So I'm not really expecting the bear market. It would have to take something significant for us to go down. I think we've seen a lot of the early OGs that had tons of Bitcoin selling down from the $126,000 mark. So when we're all the way back up here, right? So back in October last year, before the liquidation event on the 10th, we peaked out on the 6th with the 126K mark. And then we've seen a lot of Bitcoin OGs with lots of Bitcoin bags. Bitcoin still held majority by private wallets. A lot of the whales are still. So we saw a lot of them, finally taking profits all the way down into the new year. I think it sort of started stopping in this range here, and then we had one more go on certain news and stuff. We went all the way down to 60. So we've had this sort of sellout from, and they look like they've stopped, right? So we're in this phase now, and looks like they've stopped selling, and that's kind of cool. They've taken their big profits and they've gone. So that Bitcoin gets redistributed by new buyers coming in. What are the new buyers we got coming in? Well, we got the digital asset treasury, particularly Strategy, right? And we're going to have Planet as well in Japan. So both of those going to probably be pretty significant players. Different markets, US, Japan markets, right? Top 3, top 4 markets in the world. So pretty exciting there. And they are both looking to vampire the debt markets with preferred stock leverage, first stock leverage plays on Bitcoin. In other words, you offer a differential to the money markets and bond markets, credit markets. That's 2-3 times the rate. And then people take the preferred stock, you take that money above $100 par, and then you buy Bitcoin with it. So we're going to see that in the US and Japan and things like that. So it's going to be pretty exciting. And we've already seen the power of that over the last 2 months, giving us a lot of support here arguably preventing us going down to the power law floor of 53K, or even the doomsday got people, which is at 30, 40K, because I think that's a pretty big pullback. And you're talking about, rather than having a 53% pullback like we've had at 60K, you're talking about 60, 70% down. Right? That's what people think. I don't think anyone's thinking anything like 90, 95, something ridiculous like that. But certainly we're holding up pretty well here. And those digital asset treasuries are giving us a lot of support. In addition to that, of course, the ETFs now have become net buyers for the year as well. So they're also buying. And we've got new ETFs coming in, right, for Bitcoin. So it's pretty exciting. And we've got new institutions coming in and selling to all their clients, tens of thousands of clients. And it's huge, right? So we've got only big support there. And we've also got new big whales buying as well. So we've got lots of support from all the big players. Retail is the one that's slow. Retail is going to, instead of being in the early, they're going to come in later. So the world is changing, I think, for Bitcoin and ultimately for crypto. So keep a lookout for this. It's going to be pretty awesome. We probably, once we get over this 200-day moving average, then we might see the retail play start coming in, at 85, 90K. I'm not talking about you guys out there, but I'm talking about all the people that find out, oh, Bitcoin's rising. Oh, I got to go get it. It was rising got to get it now. So they're going to be a bit late to the party. The institutions are already pre-positioning and accumulating. So it's pretty exciting. But of course, the debt strategy there from Michael Saylor and Planet that's coming out is a game changer, right, at this stage. And I think it's only going to get more powerful as we move forward into the end of the year. Now, talking about Michael Saylor, let's get to him as we still talk about Bitcoin here. Strategy has generated a 6.2% BTC yield and 47,000 Bitcoin of Bitcoin gain in the first 3 weeks of April alone. April alone, guys. Just think about that. It's just massively worth 3.6 billion. BTC gain is closest analog to net income on the Bitcoin standard. So, it's up and away. And they're accumulating Bitcoin at such a rate because they're harvesting the debt markets, taking that capital and buying Bitcoin with it without having to raise a lot of MSTR common stock. And therefore, you're accretive in your Bitcoin dramatically. And now it's looking absolutely incredible, right? So very exciting things happening here. And keep a lookout for it. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge there. So, what do we got? We're up for the year to date. We're at 64,000 Bitcoin accumulated, and we're just starting to ramp up. So you can see how big a deal this is going to be. It's going to be absolutely huge. In all of 2025, it was 101,000 Bitcoin. They're going to dwarf that this year with the new with the stretch product there. It is massive. So if you're wondering, we're not looking at hopium here. We're just looking at the big buyers driving. And remember that, I think it's only about 12,000 Bitcoin a month that's being mined by the Bitcoin miners. So about 450 Bitcoin a day. So these guys are absolutely destroying that. They're absolutely destroying that by at least 2x. Now, the ETFs are doing arguably even more, although the stretch is converging on the ETFs. I think they're up net buying now is about 1,800 Bitcoin a day. Creative, and I think that's all increasing. So these numbers are just going through the roof, and you add them all together, they're just buying way more than a 450 Bitcoin miners, and so they're dwarfing that and absorbing sell pressure from private individuals and other institutions that may sell at any particular time. So it really is a game changer. We're in a different environment, and that means Bitcoin supply is shrinking dramatically, and absorbing. The buying is so strong that's absorbing, and it's increasing. And we're only expecting this to continue to explode. That could mean that strategy ends up hitting their 1 million Bitcoin. They've just gone over to 815,000, I think now, 815,000. You can see it there. That they could hit 1 million. I think. What are we now? July, June. Was it May, June, July, August? Maybe by September, something like that, August, September, they could have reached 1 million. People now are thinking they're not even talking. They're talking less about 1 million coming up, as exciting that is, which is 5% of Bitcoin, and they're starting to talk about 2 million, 3 million Bitcoin accumulation from strategy alone, just alone by itself. So we're going to keep watching that. We're going to have bi-monthly dividends be voted on in June. I think it's June the 7th, and that could be in place by the end of June and July. And that will reduce the volatility and stretch and the debt market harvesting, and that's going to accelerate, I think, the amount even more We're probably talking, I'm just taking maybe 40, 50K Bitcoin a month. I think it's insane amounts, guys, insane amounts. So yeah, maybe 5 times the miner's value, huge. And the miners, next miners halving is within 2 years. They will to go down to 225 Bitcoin a day. And of course, then we've only got up to about 2032. So within a 6-year window, supply really drying up because we'll only have 330 Bitcoin left to mine out all the way to 2141, which seems insane, but it's going to be crazy, guys. It really is insanity. So you can see demand is ramping up. The debt markets are being harvested, and it's only up from here. And it's really, I think, giving structural support, structural change for Bitcoin. Now, Raoul Paul we don't have the 4-year cycle anymore. We're going to have the 5-year cycle due to monetary supply, in particular the business market cycle. And so that's just started to take off, right? So M2 supply, record highs, the business cycle there with the manufacturing index starting to ramp up for the first 3 months after 2 years below expansion. And it's just game on now, right? So it's game on. So everything is heading in the right direction. Forget about the Iranian issue, dealing with that in the short term. As Michael Saylor says, Bitcoin strategy doesn't have any blockade. There's no blockade here. It's game on. Pretty exciting stuff. So we're going to keep watching out for the next month at the moment. I think Stretch at the moment sitting at about $99.44. Has to get back to $100 to start minting again. That's typically taken about 10 to 12 days. That will be even better once they move to bi-monthly dividend payments. That will put them in a class of their own. And I think the debt market's going to love that a lot. So you're going to see billions of dollars start to flow into that. We've already seen $1 billion+ days already into that, which is insane. And that could just be the very beginning. Because remember, debt markets, money markets are worth $300 trillion or so, somewhere in that ballpark. So pretty crazy stuff. Lots of money to tap into to pump Bitcoin to the moon. We got Blair in the house. Hi all, good to see you, Blair. We got Frank White as well. Bang bang, Pulsechain. Good to see you, Frank, as always. DJ Hexkin with the 5555s. Yep, max hex stakes, 15.2 years, looking good. We got perpetual Bitcoin in the house as well. Hit the like. Yeah, I like that perpetual Bitcoin. It's a good thing we're talking a lot about Bitcoin then. So Bitcoin there underpinning the capital flows into crypto. So a big deal, and that's why we give good coverage to it. And hopefully you're enjoying the insights there. We've got one more article to talk about is the ETFs. I've talked a lot about the DATS, the Digital Asset Treasury with a Strategy, Michael Saylor. But Eric Balcahunas here, one of the top guys on stock market, talking about ETFs. Says Bitcoin ETFs now over $1 billion in year-to-date flows, having dug out of the outflow hole and then some. So obviously when we had a lot of the OGs selling their Bitcoin, taking their profits after long-term diamond hands, we also had the ETFs with the outflow. So particularly we've got some pretty good things happening in the space with the accumulation there. Next thing to watch is the cumulative lifetime net flows. And of course, this number peaked at 62 billion, currently 58, so about 5 billion away from hitting new time highs there. Again, half the battle with building a big boy category is to not lose too much in bad times, so less hole to dig out of. And I can tell you right now, no type of hot source has ever held up as well as spot BT ETFs in that regard. So pretty exciting stuff happening. From there, Sean Edmondson says US spot Bitcoin ETFs had an enormous end to a huge inflow week. They purchased 8,600 Bitcoin on Friday alone. So think about that. If strategy is picking up, 1,500 Bitcoin or more, now that you've got these guys picking up, if they're picking up like 25,000 a week, you're talking about in a day, well, these guys picked up 8,600 on Friday alone. So you got to see things could really ramping up there, buying the old Bitcoin. And 10 business day rate now stands at 24,000. So, if you have Bitmine Emission coming out at 35,000, and now you've got 24,000 here, you can see them starting to add up to a lot of Bitcoin, right? So getting close to 50,000 Bitcoin just between the ETFs and the DATs, let alone whale buying and retail and et cetera like that, and governments and everything else that's coming. And a lot of those are still yet to come, really to flow in. We're still very early on that adoption phase. The holdings are now only 3.71% off the maximum holdings of the 10th of October 2025. Remember, that was the liquidation event, despite the approximate 50% dip in price. So there we go. Some pretty interesting things happening there. So I hope you guys are feeling pretty bullish about this. BlackRock, of course, sitting at 802,000 Bitcoin. think it's slightly higher than that now, but we saw digital for the first time. We got Strategy there flipping BlackRock ETF IBIT, and they now have 815,000 Bitcoin. So Michael Saylor's strategy's debt strategy is already working. So I hope you guys can see that this momentum. It's still got to wait for a week or two for the stretch price to get to $100, but then it starts issuing more debt and basically starts buying even more Bitcoin. We're talking about tens of thousands of Bitcoin. So it's really exciting, guys, where this is all going. And then you're going to get this frenzy, this competition frenzy from ETFs following the DATs. They're going to watch Michael Saylor and they go, man, if this guy's buying 40, 50,000 Bitcoin a month, oh hell, we better start buying more too. So they start buying 50, 60,000 Bitcoin a month. You see how it all works. And now we're buying going into 150,000 Bitcoin a month. You see what I mean? Like, it's going to get crazy. The whales will go, oh man, these guys are buying up all the Bitcoin. I've got to go back in and buy the Bitcoin. So everyone starts buying the Bitcoin, and you get a big frenzy on. And you've only got a little bit of supply coming at 12,000 a month coming from the miners, and it's game on. So we're looking at the numbers here. We're not looking at hopium, and it's all starting to avalanche one way, and it really is exciting times. We got Craig in the house. Afternoon all. Good to see you, Craig. Big shout out. Welcome. We got Alex as well in the house there. The Vouch stream was great. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. If you haven't watched that yesterday, Vouch is the _1 validator on Pulsechain with the public liquid staking, kind of like Lido and Rocket Pool on Ethereum. And we've seen Ajexa there doing a lot of innovation around flywheels and multiple yields. And trying to build the system up that way. It was pretty awesome. We had a great interview, and I thought he did a great job of explaining, as always. Super smart guy, super excellent communicator, and really looking for to give a great product to people on Pulsechain. A really, really great ethic there. So definitely check out the stream yesterday. It was really great. All right. So yeah, that's kind of where we are right now. So you guys getting excited because you should be. It's getting pretty, and we're during a war right now. We're on the maybe some of the tail end, hopefully, but that is pretty exciting what we got going. So at the moment, we've also got Ethereum at the moment. So we got here on the weekly, we've got the 200 weekly average at $2,560. We got the 50 weekly average at $2,780 right now. So they're really quite close to each other. And we have a nice, see this box here? I've got this kind of box here on the weekly. Just showing us the low that we had, and we're starting to climb there. So the low was $1,742. Tom DeMark, which is hired by Tom Lee's Bitmine Immersion, he's one of the great market timing gurus, said 1,790 was the bottom, and he's pretty close, 1,742. We're not expecting, like I say, for it to go down to a new low in this local low here. Obviously, we had this one here back in April 25. We're talking about this one here after the peak here of August there, where we got to $4,955 on the Ethereum. So we're starting to break out of this box, right? Looking really nice. So that's kind of cool. Obviously, we've got to clear, pretty much clear 2,400 pretty strongly. And we've kind of tapered with that, but we are, streaming up there 4 weeks in a row, looking pretty good. But let's go to the daily and see what the shorter time frame it looks like. Well, we've obviously got the 50-day in yellow here sitting at 2,220. So obviously we want to stay above that. That was quite a bit of resistance zone, as you can see here. We had to battle through that. You can see we're battling there. We also had the 200-day here at 2,640. So it's kind of our next ambition to get over that. And, obviously, if we're going to target the next area, that's 2,800. So, getting over 26, maybe consolidating in there below 28, and then having a go to break through that range there. And, of course, that would get us back over 3,400, probably a reasonable mark there. So we've got a bit of work to do, but, things happen pretty fast in crypto. So keep a look out for that. And sitting quite a nice. So we've had a really good attempt. We've got a higher low here, sitting at $2,260, boding well at the moment for the chart. So obviously want to beat out 2,462 and start heading towards the 2,640 mark. That's kind of the play right now on the old Ethereum. Let's jump over into a bit of news around Ethereum, and that is it's got its own digital asset treasury, just like we've got Michael Saylor vampiring the debt markets over to Bitcoin, and we've got a lot of the big banks moving more ETFs into Bitcoin. We also have the same things happening in Ethereum. Obviously, most of liquidity in that is flowing into Ethereum and Bitcoin, they're your low-hanging fruit relative to the upside being pretty amazing. So those are sort of two staples that you should probably consider. And we've got Tom Lee here at the moment with the Digital Asset Treasury there leading the way. They are bringing not so much the debt markets at the moment, but keep a lookout for that. I mean, they may do a similar product to what Michael Saylor's doing because it's working for Michael Saylor. So they may do that too. So keep a lookout for that. And it makes a lot of sense. But they're bringing over the finance market over into Pulsechain, right? So, sorry, not Pulsechain, over to Ethereum. They're bringing the finance market, the future of money, arguably, onto the blockchain on Ethereum. And we already see that Ethereum's kind of winning on the stable coins with the Genius Act, Circle issuance, and we got another 1.5 billion, I think, today. We also got, obviously, tokenization, RWA explosion on Ethereum, and AI to AI, agentic AI. Really looks like that's going to come to Ethereum and, of course, issue a lot of wallets, a lot of trading. That could ramp up to millions and millions and millions and millions, tens of hundreds of billions of wallets. I mean, it could be absolutely, utterly crazy where that takes us. And then we've got lots of other categories as well, like creative AI and everything else coming. So there's lots of cool things happening over on Ethereum there that are going to be super bullish. But Tom Lee's doing a bigger picture. Not only is he doing the number one digital asset treasury with the targeting 5% of the e-supply, which is about 6 million ETH, he's also bringing over the finance market, and he is really doing institutional adoption and mass adoption through Mr. Beast as well, and looking at the bigger AI picture there with Orbs and all the open access there to OpenAI, as well as Mr. Beast IPOs. I mean, it's going to be huge. So keep a lookout for that. The next 18 months going to be pretty exciting in that space, particularly, I think, the next 6 months with that. Just so we're talking about that, we've got Wildest J appears. Hey, great to see you, Wildest J. Hi, fam, says Wildest J there. Big shout out there as well. Yeah, we all enjoyed the El Salvador reality show for Pulsechain there. That was pretty hilarious. And I know that Wildest J is working hard with the team out of the Hive in California, dispatching Pulsechain promo iPads around the world now, in the US and UK and beyond. So that's pretty exciting stuff. So big shout out for all the hard work you guys do there. They're also seeking volunteers at the moment. So if you want to hit up Wildest J, go do that. You can go there, and apparently they even supply food and drinks and things like that, maybe even accommodation if you're lucky. So there's a lot of good community vibes going on there as the promo pads are expanding all over the place. I mean, they're ending up in all sorts of great places there. So definitely check that out. All right, Tom Lee and Bitmine Immersion here stake more ETH this month as well. We'd seen them stop pretty much at about 3.3 million. They have obviously got, I think, just over 5 million now ETH of the 6 million, sitting at about 4.12% of the total ETH supply. So they're probably not too far away, just like Strategy might hit their 1 million Bitcoin by, let's say, September. These guys are pretty similar time frame. You're talking about either side a month or something, heading towards 6 million ETH, which is 5%, the 5% alchemy there. So pretty cool stuff happening there. The other thing we've got about this is that they're now up to 3.4 million ETH now staked as well. And then they've got a lock supply as well, compounding yield. And of course, they've got their own staking solution now, Maven, made in America, I think it is. And they are also going to be opening it up to institution third parties doing yield management there too. So it's all part of their clever strategy, which is going to be pretty outstanding. So all the money is flowing into Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that's going to flow around to a lot of the rest of crypto as well, including Pulsechain, which is getting set up for it with LibertySwap and many other things. Pretty exciting. Wildest J says, thanks, yes indeed, and we are looking into finally getting them out to Aussie in the next month or two. So there we go, guys. The Pulsechain promo iPads are coming to Aussie. If you're in Aussie, you can join the Telegram group. Was it Filter for Mail in the Aussie chat and be part of the movement there. So if you're in Australia or anywhere around the world, they've probably got different country groups. Join up to Telegram there. So that's Telegram, and that's the handle is Filter for Mail, and they've got different groups there. And definitely, if you've got time, get in there and help out, because the more places it goes, the more effective it is, and the more people hear about Pulsechain and may participate. So pretty awesome. And they're great little iPads too, aren't they, for a family to enjoy. All right, very cool. All right, so let's jump over to so that's all Ethereum there, going very nicely. So we can see that on the staking there. Staking queue is pretty insane. I'm just trying to remember how many days. I think it's 50 to 60 days in the staking queue on Ethereum. And there's something, last time I checked, there was about 2.8 million ETH in the queue trying to get in there. Everyone's coming, guys. Everyone's coming. Everyone's wanting to get into that stake. That's locking up more and more Ethereum. So we've got all this buying happening. And the last buy that we saw for Monday's disclosure from Bitmine Immersion was 101,000 ETH, up from 71,000 zone. So they're definitely calling the bottom in there and accumulating there. They also did a big cash raise, which may have been slightly diluted. But anyway, that's they've got a big play. They are doing mergers and acquisitions because remember, they're going to be the number one digital asset treasury, but they're going to be basically the finance powerhouse ushering in the new monetary system. So they're going to be pretty much, I don't know, maybe they'll be like the BlackRock, but for this age. So it's going to be crazy stuff. Keep a look out for that. Tom Lee on the move. All right, that leads us into Pulsechain. How many minutes? We spent 40 minutes on Bitcoin Ethereum because it is so exciting. The space is so exciting on that, and we've got to be excited where we're heading here in the markets. Pulsechain right now is on day 1,076. Let's give a refresh for this. We've got lots of love there from Frank White to SJ. Nice. We've got day 1,076. So Pulsechain, for those that are new, is a full system state fork of Ethereum. So it's got that battle-tested blockchain. It can also take the upgrades from Ethereum and apply them to itself. So it's got a nice little free development team there working for Pulsechain, kind of neat. And they can do some upgrades, the ones they like on the old Pulsechain there. And I guess that's going to impact on quantum, right? So if we move from what's the technology? Just forgotten it. Cycle algorithms to hash algorithms, I think it is. That's going to give us some quantum proof by, I think, 2029 is where Ethereum is looking to get that in place by. So it's going to be quite an upgrade, and looks like Pulsechain will get that for free. So quantum proof in the future. We've got Pulse at the moment sitting at 50794. That's up 1.5% right now. Super cheap to pick up Pulsechain right now. Super cheap. I cannot say it. During the Pulsechain sacrifice process, there was it would have cost you $85,000 approximately to pick up a billion Pulse. Now you can pick that up for just under 8,000. So there we go. How the world has changed. Pulse exit right now is 50625. That is up 2.5% today. The buy and burn sitting at 8.88%. So the Chinese will love that. And that is up quite nicely there. Ink token at the moment at 1% at 36.6 cents. We've got Hex on Pulsechain, or PHEX as it's known, is 1/1400th of a penny. And EHEX at the moment, 00067, is doing very nicely as well. The ratio at the moment is 1 PHEX to 2.08 EHEX, which we've seen quite an uptrend for EHEX over several months. I can't remember how many months, 4 months is it? Something like that. And so we got a little interesting things happening with EHEX there. The OG, one of the top 5 coins in the last bull market. Now we have millions of coins, of course, so it's a very competitive environment. But these are the Richard Hart cores, along with ProveX as well. So Richard Hart, the founder of Pulsechain. Validators, actually, let's go to gas prices first. Gas prices, just over 1 million beats, 0.3 for a penny for a Pulsechain at the moment. So it's a little cheaper than yesterday. Validators, 50,457, no real change there. And if you haven't checked out our interview with Vouch yesterday, number one liquid validator on Pulsechain, allows you to participate in validating. And I think it was a pretty exciting interview. Got to check that out with Jixa. We're very cool on this channel yesterday. The bridge at the moment. So we're still over 70 mil. Yay for that. Yay for that. And we're at 71.1 million. Still got a lot of work to do, but that's pretty exciting. Let's pull up my snapshot from about 2 weeks ago. What day was this? The 10th. What day are we now? 22nd. So not quite 2 weeks, 12 days. We were sitting at 15.5 million USDC. We're now at 15.7, so we're up 150K on the USDC. That's good news. DAI was 14.4 million. We're up at 14.6. So we're up about almost 200K on that. Let's say 190K on DAI. ETH was 56. We're down about 50 ETH on the ETH there. USD Tether was 4.4 million. We're at 4.1, so we lost I would say about 275K on USD Tether. Obviously, one of those was probably the whale that sold the Hex, or at least may have got hacked, or the whale sold the Hex, and large holder of Hex, and it exited via USD Tether there. So that was probably the explanation for that. Other than that, Bitcoin's looking pretty similar, and there we go, 71. So that's obviously we've got the coast still sitting in there. And then we've got our liquidity forks, right? We've got 3 liquidity forks here. USDL, PXDC, HDC, and of course we've got ink printer from Fast Abdul. And Fast Abdul is about to unleash a really innovative hybrid of liquidity forks, and that is multi-chain, multi-collateral. And of course, Vouch is with VPulse, is going to be used as one of the collaterals for that, along with Provex. So looking forward to Fast Abdul's Vault 369. You can buy the token now, and the protocol's coming pretty soon. It is, I think, in public testing, something like that. All right, so let's get to the rest of the markets. We've got to look at the leaders here. So this is just a default view for Dick Screener. Volume's pretty low. We're at 3.1 million during a weekday, so not a lot of fun there. We have been elevated recently, like 5 to 7 mil. So definitely a low day here today, 3.1 million, 218,000 transactions. We've got a GoPulse at the moment, which is the site I was just on. It is up 20% today, so a bit of a jump here, 2.7 cents. So have a quick look at that chart and see where that's going right now. And so, yeah, we're down 2.3 cents and quite a bit of a little jump there. Bit of volume came in there, about 3.6K. Remember, a lot of projects on Pulsechain there's a lot of retail plays, right? So relatively small liquidity, small volumes, especially at 3.3 million overall. So even the bigger protocols are still running along the bottom at the moment. We have recently seen about 7.6 million, I think, on a daily volume, so we can get that up. But that's typically when we get a lot of the projects like OG WebChef and James Maria churning a lot of volume as well, and then maybe a couple of new tokens that get pumped to Billy Goat's Gruff. So there we go. That's a new phrase, Billy Goat's Gruff. They used it there. But anyway, so that's a go to the weekly there. That's a weekly chart there on GoPulse. Now, obviously, the swapping on GoPulse not very good. The fees and all that, and there's a lot of drama around that. But we're no drama channel, or we try to be. And so we won't cover that too much. We had this RH Pepe here. I think that was a pump tires, if I remember rightly, 13.5%. Now, remember, you must do your own due diligence on any of these tokens because there's always new tokens here. Crypto Solve does a great job of highlighting some of these, honeypots or anything else that's out there. Don't just FOMO into some of the top tokens every day because you never know whether a honeypot or not. You can buy, but you can never leave. Right? You can buy and never leave. And you also may open up your wallet to some issues as well. So always use a DGN wallet when you're degening just to isolate risk. All right. We got Mafia token from Rack and Michelle. That is still moving up there, up 10%, $1.58 right now. SolidX from Firewall. So we've got 2 wild tokens here. That is up 9% right now at 23 cents. So that is SolidX on the move. So they're moving as well. SolidX, of course, not really rolling out anything, but of course the market can be moved either by whales or by the just community. So there we go, a little bit up today. Just funny that they're both up together today. Swarm is up almost 9% as well. That's doing pretty well. Most wanted, one of our top meme coins is Most Wanted community. Up 8% there. They seem to have pretty good diamond hand community. Let me have a look at the chart again. Obviously, the US dollar chart's down because Pulse is down so dramatically over 7 months or whatever. But we've had a nice little rise here on the weekly candles on the old Most token there. And looking at the Pulse ratio, which is the one we really should look at versus Pulse, take out that US dollar move, is that it's gone from essentially 309 to 630 Pulse. So basically a 2x in your Pulse bags. There is particularly most of that in the last week or so. The RSI getting up there a little bit, but that's doing pretty well. The almost one of our top meme coins there. Diehard is up 7% as well. SCADA there from Nuclear Supply Team. I really like Nuclear Supply Team because very innovative with the tokenomics. Has really cool user UI UX experience on there. So SCADA kind of cool like that. And kind of a niche player, but I think innovative. So some of these projects may not be that big, but they're actually really quite innovative in the Devo space, and they offer something different. So kind of like that. DevC coin up 6.7% here as well. Firewall, interesting enough, another one of the SolidX there is up as well. Firewall there up 6%, and that was a pump tires. That was the one that he owned least of. He basically got 82% of the other tokens, but only had I think about 52 or 55%. I think it was 55 actually of Firewall. So that's the most that's held by the public. But essentially, a lot of that stuff was, there was rug pulls, Oh, not rug pulls. They're not quite right. Not rug pulls. There were sell-offs. So got to be careful with the language. You get in trouble with your language these days. There were sell-offs by people that had were given tokens. So there's all that sort of stuff. That was much bigger than people expected, and also the protocols themselves didn't end up got pulled. Like the Telegram bot and other things like that, which is a shame. We wanted to see success. I mean, that's what we're here for. We're here for success in DeFi and winning. So unfortunately, not well executed on that front, but maybe come back for another day. We'll see what happens there. TruFarm have been crushing it, the old True DeFi. This is where we come into more managed funds on Pulsechain. So we now have a team that's trying to do a managed funds type approach. They've got an investment fund, the SRE. They've got looking to double your pulse to the 2x miners, and they're also key holders now in top farms like Emit Farm, TruFarm. And they've got earning nice EDI rewards and synchronized staking, as well as offering some really good high yield farms. So Emit, TruFarm are doing really good there, and we can see they're holding up at 87 cents right now, up 5.4%. This team is looking to aggressively ramp up. I know they're doing a lot around security work as well, given all the scares these days, so they're working hard on that too. And I'm excited where this team True DeFi will go. Let's have a quick look at their websites. We're going to have a look at the chart first of all, of course. That's in USD, sitting at 86 cents, looking pretty good. And we'll look at the pulse ratio there. Pulse ratio looking real nice, sitting over the 21-day moving average as well. You can see it's been riding it up. And it's actually a pretty bullish cross too, because the 21's moved over the 50-day, and pulse ratio there up at 109. The low was way down here at 109,000. The low was way down here at 70,000 pulse per TruFarm token. But let's have a look at the actual website and have a look at some of the yields that they're offering. So if you are after, I call them DeFi yields, right, as opposed to passive income yields, let's say. But let's go to the farm itself. You can see the other products, True DeFi. The True 2x is the 2x miner, so you put your pulse in and you look to get a double of your pulse in that miner. And some of the ways they do that is through the SRE fund. They've got 10% of the pulse that goes in ends up getting invested into top tier protocols like TruFarm, like Emit Farm, and I think they've got some in Vouch as well, and maybe 1 or 2 other protocols. And so let's go to the farms here and have a look at the offering here. This has got the similar tokenomics, I would say, to Emit Farm. So in that regard, so similar features but different metrics. Obviously, naturally. And so, this is where we are at the moment. They got an emission rate. So they're sitting at 87 cents, emission rate of 1,000. So they're sitting, maybe $870 a day or something like that in emission. So it's very sustainable from that point of view. It's pretty clever. And we've got staked TruFarm there. You can stake the actual TruFarm token and earn EDI. And that's run from a 5% reflection tax. So that's kind of cool. Just churns over that volume. There's $600,000 worth of TVL in there, so it's looking pretty nice. APR is the annual percentage return is 178%, which is equivalent to this calculator of getting a quarter of your capital back a day in income, 1.8% a week, 8.2% a month. And if the APR did stay up for a long time, could end up being 158% for the year. So that's going to be the idea there. Now, the cool thing about this, you just stake, you buy TruFarm tokens, you just stake it in there. That's a single-sided staking. There's no impermanent loss issue from relatives between tokens. There is obviously the underlying value of TruFarm though, so just take that into account. TruFarm itself, there's got non-single-sided staking, and that is they've got a lot of pool, right? So TruFarm with Pulse, TruFarm with DAI, and they got really high yields, 138, 132. TruFarm with PulseX, TruFarm with Inc. So all your favorites there. 140%, 165%, TruFarm with ProveX. Obviously, all the Richard Hart tokens there, 160% right now. Then they've got TruFarm and Emit itself, which is kind of a marriage made in heaven, isn't it? 152% there, looking pretty good. So there we go. PulseX, of course, they got Pulse. So these are non-TruFarm peers, which is Pulse and PulseX. So if you've got that sitting in your wallet, there's a 22.8% APR for nothing. Thanks very much for coming. I'm just trying to say there is a 2% deposit and withdrawal fee. So just note that a lot of them won't have any fees, like all the TruFarm ones. I don't think none of these got any fees. But if you go to non-TruFarm tokens, they may have a fee on it. So ProveX DAI has a 2% entry fee, 2% withdrawal fee. Community tokens, they got Yip, Rhino, Gelato there, Tetra, and Hero. and they're all looking pretty good. So some of these you'll be well known. Rhino, pretty innovative Treasury 28-day charging model there. What do we got there? Tetra, of course, doing DeFi, basically downloadable. What's going to be Web3, but downloadable, interacting with smart contracts. So that is still progressing with Stu. And then we've got Hero there from Vets doing a great job. So with the non-profit, our big non-profit on Pulsechain, that's 133% for TruFarm and Hero. Now they also have a DAO, right? Every quarter they support first responders and vets through their quarterly there. So they've obviously got a lot of funds entering, going through to the Hero protocol. All right, so that is pretty exciting. So that is a TruFarm. So you got to check that out as well. I'll post the link there in the chat there if you guys want to check it out. It's one of the high yield APR farms on Pulsechain. Bam. So there we are. Keep up the good work there. That's Daniel and Neil, pretty well known and respected community members running that project. All right, as part of True DeFi. So it's just one, and I think they got more coming, guys. I think these guys are looking to expand and to become, I think, one of the heavyweights, and I think they're doing a great job on that front. All right, let's jump over into some others here. Let's move down a bit further here. So TruFarm, they're sitting at number 12, number 13, up 4% right now. DAO token, obviously another top meme coin. We had Most token up here at number 3. DAO token is paired up with ProvX. A lot of smart teams have done a pretty clever thing, tying themselves up with ProvX, with LP pools, tying themselves up with Peacock for LibertySwap. So they're already backing some of these heavyweight protocols. I think that's been a pretty smart move to help move up relative to the markets. So we've got DAO ProvX here up 3.7% at the moment. Then we're going to get to Emit, and I did put Emit Farm on the title of the video, so we're going to focus on these a little bit. We've got LibertySwap, TruFarm, and Emit, so that's what we're primarily covering on Pulsechain today. Emit there up 3.5%, $1.34, looking real strong. This is over a year old, this farm. A lot of farms will fail within a month, somewhere in that ballpark, maybe 2 months max. But Kairos from Emit Farms has really been clever with tokenomics, and not only tokenomics, but collaborations and partnerships. And he really has evolved the space for farms, and that's on Pulsechain, which is pretty exciting. And look at the charts, looking pretty good. So $1.34 is the weekly candles here for Emit, and looking pretty exciting here as well. The pulse ratio, let's look at that, 169. Look at that. I mean, it's near all-time highs. So pretty exciting stuff, and the volumes are looking pretty tasty as well. So well done to Kairos. Really great. Let's go have a look at his farms. This is probably the leading farm, arguably, along with TruFarm on Pulsechain, offering high yields at the moment. There are many other great farm providers and DeFi ecosystems out there, like Nexium, which we might interview hopefully next week. And did I just let that slip? I don't know. And then we've got Function Island with Donny D. We got Axel out there. We've got lots of exotics as well in the space on Pulsechain. So we've got some pretty cool stuff happening in farms and DeFi offerings there for yield. So let's have a quick look at the farm here for Emit. Let's have a look at the tokenomics here as well. So obviously it's pretty similar setup here. This is $1.34 at the moment. The mission rate's even lower. So on TruFarm, we're sort of 1,000 at $750 a year, and at $1.34. So probably, what's that, about 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 bucks, somewhere like that. Emit single-sided staking, you can see on the left here. All you have to do is buy Emit, stake it in EDAI. APR on here at the moment is at 98%. And we've got the TVL in there, 230,000 at the moment, so looking real good. And the current daily is 0.19% of your capital back a day as income. Weekly is 1.32%, monthly is 5.86%, and yearly is 97, almost 98% at the moment. And that will move around, obviously, with the amount of TVL in there, and also another LPs that people put in there. Emit that people put in there, and also the dollar price of the token there as well. And of course, anything else that they adjust there. Now, obviously, outside the single-sided staking, you have all the pools. You have the Emit pools, and they're looking attractive, 140%, 133. Now, I'm not going to go through all these because there's a lot on this farm, but you can go through, if you've got tokens, it might be something that suits you. You put LP and Pulsex, and then put it inside the farm here with your LP tokens, and you earn extra rewards, right? Not just the fees there. Now, I think a lot of these are V2, so if you're going to earn the fees, you have to be in those. So yeah, it's pretty cool. You can see the actual P here underneath. You can manage liquidity as well button, so you can get yourself familiar there. Got the calculator all that good stuff. So there's no fees on these ones here, but you can see there's lots of top tier pools. I mean, look at it. Emit is with ProveX, Ink Token, Pulsechain, a lot of rich art cores. Pretty cool. Even a wrap Bitcoin there from Ethereum is in there as well. Then they got the Pulsechain peers. And the Pulsechain peers here at the moment, they've got a 1% entry fee. So there's a fee for these. Just take note of that. And that is because they're not attached to Emit, right? So they're offering high yield, so they take a little bit there. And so you've got DAI, Pulse, Ink Pulse X, Pulse X. A lot of people just sitting on those. You can sit them in here for long. If you're sitting there long enough, you probably have to be in there for at least over 2 months to be profitable, my guess, on those. And also the yield reflects also the TVL. So the more TVL, if it's got low TVL, it will affect the APR as well. So just take note of all those things. And of course, you got your normal permanent loss issues as well with peers like that. All right, so we've got Pulse Bitcoin in here as well. So Pulse Bitcoin crew, got lots of high yields there, good yields. Vouch as well, which we just interviewed yesterday. Some spectacular yields in here. So pretty good. They also have a 1% fee on it, on the entry exit, no doubt. I'm pretty sure it's on the exit too. You have to double check, but I think that's the case, at least on the entry. So you'd have to double check with Chorus in the Telegram. Pump ties there. We've got Pump in there as well. We've got lots of popular tokens like Top Hat and Peacock, and lots of pump tie coins there. Morbius, which we're going to interview tomorrow, which is going to be exciting. So take care of that. We're doing quite a few interviews coming up, aren't we? We kicked it off with Vouch. We took it off with a big one, and we're going to do some pretty special ones moving ahead. So lots of cool stuff happening there. Community tokens, Tetra, ZKP, lots of cool stuff happening on there. Pulsechain store with they got a big giveaway, $50,000 giveaway, I think, coming up. TruFarm, of course, we just talked about that. So they got their farm as well on Emit Farm. RhinoFi as well in the house. So big shout out to them. Crypto Paradise, big KOLs with the Surf token, looking good there, along with Top Hat from Crypto Coffee. So got lots of love there with some of the big KOLs on Pulsechain. Impulse, Function Island, Donny D and his innovative farm and DeFi ecosystem, Island and Yield and farm tokens in there. Pretty nice. Actuator as well. I think that's an original Kairos project, if I remember rightly. Can't remember 100%. But then we've got the Graze Currency, the first DAO on Pulsechain with a huge community, one of our biggest communities. And then we've got Vic Foundation as well from Vets, doing pretty cool. Our non-profit on Pulsechain, helping first responders and veterans. Hocus Pocus doing DeFi and NFTs. So they've got a great yield farming tool, which allows you to find the best yields around Pulsechain, DeFi apps. And then we've got No Permissions from Randy Alasky with a lot of the crew around SolidX. A lot of influencers in here with Nope Token from Randy Alasky, 5 from Crispy Man. Who else is in here? We've got SolidX from Firewall, Axis from Axis Alive. So some pretty another influencer crew there. Nexian Farm and DeFi ecosystem is a pretty big. Hopefully we're going to have them on the live stream next week. We're working on that one. And then Vox, another farm in the house there as well. And then Pipeall. So you can see really expanding a lot, and great stuff there from Emit Farms. So kind of cool. So I'm going to provide the link there as well. If you guys are hunting high yield DeFi, lots of options there for you to consider. Remember, always do your due diligence, all that good stuff. But I'm sure if you get into Telegram groups for True Farms or True DeFi and Emit, they will help you out with any questions you've got there. So that is True Farms link. And that is the Emit Farms. There we go. Emit Farm, emit.farm/farms. There we go. They're pretty much, I think, the best high yields on Pulsechain and DeFi in the DeFi space there. So pretty cool. All right, so that is looking good. Let's jump away from there. We've got, obviously, there's going to scroll down a bit here. We've got number 15 is Dominance from OG WebChef, up 3.4%. World's Greatest PDI Printer also at number 17, up 3%. We've got Source and Minimail. I don't know why they're still here, but they're still here. We wish they were still here because that buy and burn must have, I don't know, 20, 30 million. It must be huge now, surely. That's pretty big. I need to actually get an update on that just to get clued up where they exactly are. I thought they were going to be leaving at the end of last year, but they're still here. So up 3%. This was going to be one of our main bullish catalysts was Source and Minimail. It is a pretty much a game-breaking food where you can have a lot less calories but get all your nutrients all in one. And so you can lose weight as well as being super healthy. That's kind of the idea. And they have they even chocolate version, which adds a little bit more calories, but that is programmed there. Now they are expanding around the world from Europe out. I think they're going to US as well. but they were going to do big buy and burn. So it's a shame because they would have big capital from profits. Also, that they also had access to Floyn and a lot of investment firms in Europe, which have been fantastic. We always talk about Ethereum and Pulsechain with these institution stuff coming in. Well, it'd be great if Pulsechain could get those, right. Saw some minimal was one of those options. Now, I still have an open question whether Rackham Rochelle has actually access to those sort of investors. I know he has, as a venture capitalist, he has a certain client list, maybe, or at least associations, but we haven't really seen anything of that so far, at least. But we keep an open mind about that and see what happens in that space. All right, so that's coming into play. Remember we used to have the Hex Investment Trust, and they were going to get us listed on Nasdaq. Obviously, Hex has underperformed relative to doing that. Got pretty close, I think, on some of the metrics. I think they had to reach $10 million, and was it how many people? 50 holders or something. I can't remember exactly now. We haven't heard much about that since then either. And that would have been one way if we could have got Pulsechain in some sort of Nasdaq products. That would have been pretty exciting. So it's a win-win, on that side. So we'll keep a lookout for that. Obviously, if we can get any investment flows into Pulsechain, like we're seeing with Ethereum stuff, that'd be brilliant, right? Remember, we've got the same battle-hardened blockchain, and at the moment we've got some amazing teams building on Pulsechain. And of course, Richard Hart can do a lot of great things in the future, and he's interested in Pulsechain season. That's what he said. So keep a lookout for that. And of course, Richard Hart there getting taken off the Europol list, which is a great sign. And Interpol's probably not too far away, right? And so it looks like Richard will be completely free to move and to make himself public. And therefore, people are getting excited about him doing an upcoming, start doing live streams again. I think if he does live streams, I'd like to see him do things a little different than he used to do it, because I think he's got the baseline to build a really, really exciting future there. We obviously want to keep a bit of the old stuff, but we'll see what Richard comes up with. He's getting a bit older, but changing a little bit, as you do. And so we'll see what happens there. But it's going to be pretty explosive, I think, when he comes back on. We could start seeing him, doing 30 to 50,000 people audiences, and that is pretty major for the chain, right? Let's see where he goes there. We also see obviously more issues even with Aave Bridge and things like that, it gives them more fuel for I told you so type of thing. We'll look forward to that. All right, so we got 9mm down here at number 28. That's up 2% right now, and we have seen 9mm actually kind of move, haven't we? So 9mm, we've got two main dexes, PulseX and 9mm V3, of course. And they distribute their profits, right, every month, I believe. You have to claim them, but they do that. So they on the weekly daily candle, you can see they've been rising quite nicely. So they were all the way down at just below 3/10 of a penny, and they're now just over half a penny. But the pulse ratio is looking really good. Let's look at that. So this is the weekly candle. So the last 4 weeks, or 3 weeks at least, 4 weeks here. 5 weeks actually, because we got this bottom week here. They've been up from 256 pulse per 9mm up to 700. So it's already started to move. And this is with Pulsechain still not out of the downtrend yet. We're kind of trying to find that bottom on Pulse, but not quite there yet. We'll have a look at the Pulse chart, but they're moving up. And they've even been moving up even higher. If you want to take this little flash crash down here on the 13th of October, even taking the baseline at 210, they're already up quite a bit there. So, looking pretty good as 9mm. And of course, I say we've got about 15 blue chips on Pulsechain. These are typically utility products like DEXs, DEX aggregators, liquidity forks, things like that with stablecoins. They're kind of your blue chip utilities. Now, I use the word conservative, but they're kind of the more less risky in many ways. Obviously, they have their own risky avenues that can cause problems. But all in all, as taken on average, they relatively more conservative. Therefore, I have them as the blue chips. Called a tier one. I call tier one. It doesn't mean you're going to make more money with them than some of the tier twos or tier three products. But that's kind of that's where I have it. So they will tend to move. Most of them will tend to move with Pulse. When Pulse rallies, we'll tend to see them benefit because all the volumes will go up, and therefore they'll earn more fees, and it intrinsically become more valuable. And so people start FOMOing in off the bottom into those protocols. And we've already seen a little bit of a move in 9mm, which is kind of neat, and they're paying out their divs. So that's something we're going to look at. But we have a few dynamic projects, right? A few dynamic projects that are blue chips like LibertySwap, right? Which is just expanding its ecosystem massively. A lot of people speculate that it's good chance it's tied into Richard Hart. There's a little ho-hum around that, right? They seem to have these magical capital flows that come in just when they need it for big pools and things like that. So it's pretty interesting stuff going on there, and a lot of the products do seem to fit very well Richard Hart vision. Now that might be completely disconnected, but people making associations with that. They definitely seem like they're a global team, but based out of Europe, is what we look like at the moment. All right, so let's go have a look. We're going to have a look at that LibertySwap in a minute. How we're doing for time? We're up to an hour and 10 minutes, so we're having a good time here today, even with the markets modest today. Let's scroll down here a little bit more and look at some of the other tokens that are slightly green. Pump tires here is 1.5%. Remember, the 5th of September for OG Redshift up 1.3%. Vouch, which we interviewed yesterday with Jexa, fantastic, our largest Pulsechain validator, that is up just under 1% today, 4 zeros, 1100s. And then what else we got going? We're going to go down a bit further. ZKP along with Pruvix. There's also a Kairos product from Emit Farm that is up slightly today. So doing reasonable volume, 3K. I'd like to be 3K to be the minimum. Hopefully you'll be generating around 5K. That's churning over good profits there. Unity from Cryptographics up 0.25% today, tied in with the Pulsex. What else there? Stacks up a little bit there. We got some funny pairs popped up here with Peacock, didn't we, yesterday? Nana X here, so ignore those ones. Just ignore those pairs. We've got Pruvix down here with along RhinoFi. So RhinoFi, Pruvix, so these are all down slightly. So how many are green today? 59. So basically like 60% of the coins are green there today, but the rest of them are slightly under the weather there on the US dollar. RhinoFi there just down slightly today. We've got another X game from Firewall there, just down slightly there. Pruvix though is on the move from Richard Hart, down slight 0.5%, but still holding up pretty well, I think. And let's have a look at the Pruvix chart quickly. And we got the daily chart here. We are below the 21, so that was a bad sign, and that has gone down. So there was a decision. We said that at the time that has gone down right now, and this is finally killed off our thing. We called this chart pretty much right all the way until this point here, so until the 18th, and then it's made a decision to go down. So that means it hasn't hit our 91, 93, 100 mark. So it had a lower high here. This was the decision point, and it went down. So we had a lot of negative news, obviously, with Iran, but this still went down. So that is that failed to call there. So can't get it all right all the time. And there we go. Keep a lookout for that. So I did say that the market value for that was from a TA point of view. From a fundamental point of view, I did feel like the market really was overpriced, right? So I said to you 75K is what I thought. We're at 87 million now. Sorry, 60 to 75 million is what I think it should be, because Pruvix still in beta, but 87, and also relative to Pulsex and the others there based on GoPulse market caps. That's kind of where we are there. So two different things going on there. Liquid loans is down 2.4%. We saw that in the monster thread with Crypto Crazy. He's out there doing big shows there promoting crypto. Hopefully a certain amount of Pulsechain as well. And the fact so much money sacrificed, so hopefully he's doing that too. Top at the moment is down 3% from Crypto Coffee. Then we've got Peacock in the mix here, down 5%, sitting at just below 1.3 cents. We're going to look at them in a minute. Let's see what else we got here. Asteroid was around yesterday. I'm not sure how safe Asteroid is, so just be careful there. A Zendog there. So we've got quite a few Peacock tokens here. Zendog, Zero. They're all down here as well, along with Top Hat tied in the Peacock quite a bit. So they're going to move up and down with the Peacock there, no doubt. Peacock is kind of being overlooked at the moment relative to the upcoming projects. So we're going to have a look at LibertySwap now. So this is a bit of a lull in the market here, and this is kind of you can decide whether you think it's an immaturity in the market or whether it's just a normal market selling off here. And of course, you got to argue, what rotations have we seen as well? So maybe people rotate. We did see a big whale leave a Peacock, so they had a big holding, a multi-million Peacock holding. They have sold out, so they're out now, and they sold out yesterday. So that red candle yesterday, they're pretty much out. So the question is now, does it recover, right? That's the question. And of course, we've got 3 big protocols launching that there is on a Peacock there, representative of LibertySwap. Now, LibertySwap, of course, is the Kraken. I talked about 15 blue chips on Pulsechain, the utility kind of projects. Well, there's 1 or 2 of them that are dynamic. What I mean by that is that they can move at any time, right? Because they are launching more and more top tier DeFi offerings, right? So they're just adding and adding and adding. And particularly LibertySwap is even more powerful because it has a bridge pumping it. So imagine you have a river flowing with money flowing in and out. And then you have a DeFi sitting on that river, right, scooping up and benefiting from that. How many projects have that, right? So that's the question. LibertySwap standing there, and also they are also at the frontier of privacy solutions as well. So pretty exciting stuff happening from here. So let's have a quick look at some of the updates over the last 20 hours or so. Don't want to go too far back here. Let's get up to here. So we did have some big news here. So another. LibertySwap obviously is a nice bridge on-ramp to Pulsechain and multi-chain solution. We also got Ramp now, right? Ramp now was even out slightly before LibertySwap, and they have now added Peacock directly to their on-ramp. So while that was quick, says Ramp now, Peacock now available globally on Pulsechain, Asia, US, Europe, and of course they have their own features they've been adding, Card, Apple Pay, Google Pay, SEPA, and many more. So really excited that now you got your euros there. 100 euros, buy yourself 8,234 Peacock, which is pretty cool. And they got cards there. You can obviously change your payment options and your receiving account. So pretty cool there from Ramp now. Very cool stuff there indeed. So looking good there. All right, so that is from Ramp now, one of our main bridges on the Pulsechain. Let's go to the next update here as well. So this is 11 hours ago. They said they had this responding to the Ramp now updates. They said Alpha Baller this is great news indeed. We have built the LibertySwap API, which we've talked about in the past. That was their first big launch really this month, was the SDK API rollout. And we saw quickly, a Pulse guy there apply it immediately to their Telegram bot, which is kind of cool, which is kind of a replacement for, I guess, the Firewhale Telegram bot. And are currently developing the Liberty Shield API and the Liberty X API. So they're currently working on those APIs as well. So, hiding your crypto and DEX aggregator, right? The API, which is going to be linking into their new products coming up with the big liquidity expansion. These guys are crushing it, man. These guys are crushing it. So kind of cool. Developers from other teams can integrate their apps in our services. Yes, indeed. So very cool. So official Ramp Internet Money changed now. On-Ramp Money and anyone else can integrate LibertySwap easily. We are also working with other cross-chain swap protocols and major wallets on Pulsechain to adopt this. So isn't that cool? That is very cool. This looks solid. We have our devs take a look and see where we can build more together. And we've got Internet Money responding there as well. So beautiful thing, right? Beautiful thing when you see this kind of expansion. Now, the other thing, obviously, you need a lot of protocols adopting technology, but you also want to get listed everywhere as well. I think that LibertySwap has been working on that also. We've already seen earlier, about a month ago, I think it was, or earlier this month, a large Ethereum listing site list them. So I think we're going to probably see more of that. And therefore, if they're on lists of solutions and people are on Ethereum or other chains, they go through the list of bridges or this or privacy, they're going to see LibertySwap as one of the offerings, and they may very well pick it. So just kind of has that, as the crypto gets bigger, they got more eyes potentially seeing it and utilizing. So kind of cool. I choose to click green, says LibertySwap. 11 hours ago, I choose a Pulsechain. So obviously they're great LibertySwap, great Pulsechain patriots. Patriots there. We got Hog in the house there. Not bad. We got a few other people there as well. What do we got there? So kind of cool. I always go have a look at the comments, right? Because they often drop some more stuff there. Now, 11 hours ago, this is where we're getting into the big updates here. So we're expecting 3 big launches. We already got one that's it's got 3 stages. We're already at the first stage. So we've got 3 launches rolling out. One of them with 3 stages, but they got the ZKX wallet is launching this week. So you can't get much excited than that. But look where the LibertySwap is. Well, we had a big account selling out, right? So we had a big account selling out, and I don't know where they went, but they're sold out. And I was having a look at that last night. And then we've got LibertySwap here. ZKX wallet is launching this week, and another thing as well. So I don't know if that's actually been on the list yet. Obviously, we're expecting the yield product, which is going to expand liquidity and turnover dramatically. Multi-chain solution, and that's where people can provide liquidity, set their fee, and 80% goes back to them. 10% to buy and burn Peacock, 10% to build up the treasury. So, and potential developments and things like that. So that's kind of where we are this week, and they're rolling out and more and more and more. So kind of cool. So we'll keep a look out for that. That is coming. I don't know if they had any comments. Do they have any comments on that? I'm not sure. I'll look here. Not sure. We got a couple comments. Not really. All right. So that's kind of cool. Let's keep scrolling up here. We're going to keep going up here. Talking about stable coins there too. Let's keep going up here. So that's pretty much it from LibertySwap. So we got some big launches this week, guys. Keep a lookout for it. It's going to be pretty exciting. We're expecting the yield product, the wallet, everything else. What's going to happen to Peacock price? Keep a lookout. Sometimes it moves delayed. We had the whale sell out, so maybe we've got less sell pressure and more buy pressure. So keep a lookout for that. And of course, the liquidity product is going to potentially add a tons of buy pressure for Peacock. So at volume, right? At volume. So if that's successful, then massive potential buy pressure there. So that is what's happening with that. That is the big juggernaut, and we're looking out for those. Those are huge launches, and I think everyone's pretty keen to get another wallet on Pulsechain that's top tier. Funny enough, RampNow is also working on a wallet. So RampNow just gave support to Peacock. They're also working on their own wallet, which is progressing also. So finally, we're going to have a good set of offerings. Internet Money, of course, one of the top protocols on Pulsechain, 195 countries, 40 chains, and it works like a charm. They're always improving it. We saw KG just get into the documentary with Change Now, which is obviously a massive payment rail there on the crypto multi-chain, and so things are looking pretty good in that space. We've also got Peacock just expanding its ecosystem. Ever since the beginning of this year with LibertySwap V2, they've been able to put the hooks in and hook in any DeFi just about that they want. So and as well as privacy, bring it frontier privacy. So what a juggernaut it is going to be. Excited about that. Now, question Hart, it's a perfect solution for Richard Hart to use from the looks of it. So we'll see what happens in that space. And then after all these projects, we've got lots of other things that are coming for this. The marketplace is coming for LibertySwap. They've got Liberty Lend coming. So that's what I mean. They've got all these different DeFi hooks. The ecosystem is top tier, top quality, just expanding. And it's exciting where it will go. So, and we're still in the, coming off the bear market. So it's if it's doing this well now, building during the bear, the rally could be absolutely hyper bullish moving forward. I think it's pretty exciting. So as you can see, we're just in summary, I guess we got a lot of good stuff. But I wanted to look at Pulsechain first because we might as well do it while we're on a roll here. Let's have a look at Pulsechain chart and quickly look at where this is at right now in terms of Pulsechain. I think we got the daily chart there. So we've still got this, obviously, a terrible chart if you're holding, a terrible chart if you obviously bought higher, a fantastic chart if you're just coming in to buy, a good chart if you're coming into DCA and lower your average price down dramatically, because at the moment you can pick up so much volume compared to what you could have at the top here, right? So a massive opportunity here. Now, eventually, we're all looking for a bottom in the markets. Obviously, I've talked about how bullish I think Bitcoin and Ethereum are, and I'm bullish about where Pulsechain will be, right? So in the last year, we had Richard Hart talking about he's more interested in Pulsechain season. We see him making moves. Obviously, he's trying to get himself out of the Interpol and all that stuff so that he can be free to really be a public face. And he's always talked about going for glory. So we always got that out on the sideline, and that could be pretty interesting where that goes, right? So obviously there are a camp that believe nothing's going to happen, and then there's a camp that I'm in, which thinks that Richard Hart really is after Pulsechain season and glory in his own way, and wants to be the chain that rules the roost for the bull market ahead. So kind of cool. Looking forward to see that. We've seen a lot of moves happen regarding inflation and yields, incentives around Pulsex, Hex, and incentive token, things like that. ProveX, of course. So Richard has been on the move a lot in that regards. And now we're looking for the main value plays for the people that managed to stay the longest, apparently. So it might have been a lot longer than people expected, but we're looking forward to that. Now, there's different views on how that might happen. You got people's views like dip catcher on one end, and then you've got, I don't know, the most bullish person on the other end. I don't know, is that Sandy Beach? I don't know, it could be. But we've got lots of range of views on how that might happen. What's the best approach? Obviously, we've had Hex Scouts, have put their public views in place. There's been lots of different views and approaches put in place. Richard, of course, is going to run his game plan, right? And so that's what we're expecting to see happen there. At the moment, of course, we had the launch back here on the 30th of May 2023. We had the SEC hang over Pulsechain for a long time. We saw a lot of capital leave and over the bridge, and of course, a lot of dumping going on. We have been in this big yellow line in this big mega downtrend, right? That's what we want to see reversed, is that yellow line. We want to see that reverse, right? So what will we need to do that? I think we're going to need several weeks, maybe even 6 to 8 weeks of consolidation down here. We've got, like I say, we've got a bullish case for Bitcoin and Ethereum that I laid out at the beginning of the live stream for 40 minutes. And so we're looking, not necessarily something in this exact order from this, but just the idea that we will go up, right? So that's pretty cool. I have got it in May. May's around the Clarity Act. If it gets approved on the 21st, that's obviously having a lot of hurdles coming out of the Senate Finance Committee. And so we're still getting a little trouble there. That's not going to hold crypto back, the Clarity Act, but it will help the banks come in, really. I think it's a big deal for the banks and maybe the CFI, DEXs. But actually, it's not going to hold crypto from doing the big rallies. I think that's already game over with the Genius Act and with the stretch products that are out there. I think that's already game on. We already see the banks coming in with ETFs. Now they're coming in with staking ETFs as well for Ethereum. So I think that's all game, that's all thing. But the banks coming in, even in a broader sense, more traditional banks and things like that, the Clarity Act is going to be a key thing there, right? To give the regulatory clarity around, the SEC and things like that. So we've got a lot of stuff happening in that space. All right, so if we can get consolidation over the weeks here ahead, I think that's pretty cool. You guys know I have my price target of 1,200 as the first target there to do that. That's all based on the horizontals, right? So you can see here on the weekly, kind of that level there. So that's kind of the first target I have. And then, of course, we've got to get over, 17, 1800 and onwards and upwards from there. But we need a good consolidation here, and we need to start printing higher highs, and that's why we got to beat the 1200, and then we've got to be able to defend that. And once we break down these lower highs, right, we can start, marching back up there. We're going to have to obviously have waves, because people that buy down here, there will be a class of those people that buy down the bottom here that will want a 2 or 3x and they'll sell out, right? So then there'll be people that want a 5 to 7x and they'll sell out. So we're going to have little waves of sellers, and we're going to have more buyers coming in. Now, two things, of course, we need obviously the general market going up, more money coming in. We need to have promotion. We've got the Pulsechain promo pads out there. We've got people, airdropping Hex on the eHex side of things. That has its own narrative about if Ethereum goes up. We've seen the ratio of eHex to PHEX go up, so that could be a leading indicator there as well with those sort of moves. So the things going on there. We have Dipcatcher's Flex Nets come in as well. I'm sure he'll time that at the right time, and he has strong views about that. So that's his positioning. But I think consolidation here is going to be pretty key, and getting over that 1200 and start marching up, making higher highs and higher lows. So that's what we're looking at there. But we do need some good consolidation here. But I think we're getting pretty close with the market to getting that. And I'd be surprised that we go down in a lower scenario. It's always possible. Obviously Pulsechain's done that for a long time. During this time, not only have we had the SEC, but we've had a lot of issues with the copied contracts like PMaker, Compound, and other things like that for various reasons. And CryptoSoul's pretty confident that those are over now, that the large amount of liquidity sitting in those is dampened down perhaps enough. And so that may be very well over, as well as the sacrifice set has exhausted itself selling here, even the Hexkins that pushed in value into the sacrifice there as well. So if that's all true, then this is a good chance for consolidation here for maybe 4, 6, probably 6 to 8 weeks, and then we can go up to after May, maybe into June. And then, of course, we get all the macro benefits of, the business cycle, the money supply, the interest rate cuts potentially in July, all that sort of stuff coming in for the second half of the year. And we get the hyper rally for, at least, 12 to 18 months, perhaps, along with the rest of the market. So that is kind of the view there at the moment. So 1200 pretty key. We have to start minting out there. And we're still not out of the woods yet, right? Still chumming around here. But I'd like to see us just slowly creep up here and eventually lose the zero, go to 4 zeros again and march up there. We're certainly on the bottom here on the RSI for the weekly, just chumming around the almost oversold, not quite, but almost oversold mark. Moving to the daily chart, you can see we're kind of sitting at the 47. We've got no real bullish crossover yet, the 21 over the 50. So we're still chumming around here, but I just suggest that we're probably going to have, hopefully, if we can get a consolidation here, let's say 6 to 8 weeks, we could really start to power up there. So that's kind of my view at the moment on the chart. And as long as we've got no more black swan events, no larger dumpers, obviously we've still got hex stakes out there. I mean, we saw that recently with USD Tether. So nothing's out of the ballpark there. But just trying to say, well, are we almost there? And can we get more buying and selling? That's kind of the play. So keep a lookout. Pretty important area right now, particularly given the macro picture, how bullish that is, regardless of the Iranian conflict, and onwards and upwards there. Obviously, we do get a good, we do get some deal done, deal with the devils that were. We may end up just rallying on that too. And it's just a matter of if we do rally, can we find a higher low and bounce off 1200 as support? So will 1200 become support? You can kind of see this area here, pretty key. So keep a lookout for that. But man, at the moment, you can pick up massive volumes of Pulse. pretty exciting place to be. And I guess the question is, was this the 7th of April, the low there at 69.66, 5069.66 on the old Pulsechain? So that is the play. We're not out of the woods yet, but we are hunting that bottom. And of course, that big, long yellow line, not much fun to ride down, but buying now, pretty dreamy, right? Pretty dreamy. And if you did buy really high, DCAing down here will lower your recovery value, and therefore dramatically, and therefore you will be able to recover your break even much quicker on that front. So there's a few things to think about there. Obviously, nothing's financial advice. You could do your own due diligence, all that good stuff. And those are some of my thoughts about the chart right now. All right, we could be there. Could be at that crossroads. Let's see. All right, so I think that's pretty much it right now. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. We're an hour and 32 minutes, so pretty full some show today. I'm pretty excited where we're going. Richard says he's out for Pulsechain season, and he gave us a very interesting clue about where he thinks ETH should be. That might attract him, which is at $10,000, $10,000 ETH. Maybe the magic carpet ride begins then. But he's got quite a few moves he can make if he wants to. And if he gets free from Interpol, one of those would obviously be the potential to stream. So we're excited about that. LibertySwap, of course, laying out much of his roadmap, I would argue. And it's exciting to see where that goes. End of this month, we're going to have some pretty heavyweight protocols from LibertySwap. I mean, that's going to be quite the ecosystem indeed. These guys are professional. They seem to be well funded, so you can, I don't know who's pushing that, but they're really doing a great job there. I've heard some interesting theories around that, but you have to join Discord for that, because that's where we talk about this sort of stuff, our conjecture and rumors and hearsay and things like that. So that's kind of cool. And also chain analysis and stuff and all that sort of stuff. So pretty cool. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Perpetual Bitcoin said good show. Hey, I enjoyed it too. So it's always good when the host enjoys it. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed it. So we covered some good stuff. LibertySwap. We covered TruFarm. We covered Emit Farm, which are both offering high APRs. So big shout out to those teams. It's been very, very exciting. We obviously had the monster thread number 50 come out. In fact, I probably should go find that so you guys can check that out if you haven't. I didn't get to talk about it yesterday because I was doing the Vouch interview. So let me just pull that up quickly. And you guys can go and read that. It's perfect for sharing with new people that you want to onboard. So that's the monster thread number 50. It's pretty awesome. And we got some great images in there. Look at that. That's Crypto Crazy from Liquid Loans are doing a conferences. Kind of neat. And then we have Tam Tam, always putting out the cute pictures, right? The cute pictures there. I think she's a nurse, presumably. I don't know if she's a surgical nurse or a ward nurse or whatever, but she's working hard to accumulate more of the good stuff down at the bottom here. So she knows what she's doing there. Pretty exciting there. We also got some good stuff happening here with the iPads. People putting them in bins and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Sorry, in the back of their boots. I don't know if it's bootlegging, but look at all those iPads there for Prime promo. So you got people out there doing a lot of good stuff in the zone. Pretty neat. And then KG, of course, becoming a bit of a star with Change now on their crypto documentary, which I think is pretty cool. So congratulations to him. Pretty good photo there. So lots of good stuff happening in the 50 weeks. 50 weeks. Also, this week is a $50 giveaway. So to celebrate 50 weeks of the Monster Thread, the best requote comments wins $50. So if you're wanting in for a bit of $50 payload, maybe you shut yourself a dinner for the night, then that's something to check out. But there's many great stories in there. Look at them all. Pretty awesome. So maybe I may go through that tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow we've got another interview coming in, so a little bit busy there. Let me just copy that over, and of course, many of the great teams in there as well. So you can check out all those. So that is the Monster Thread. Great for onboarding, great for catching up with all the hottest stuff in the community every single week. So 50 weeks of that, pretty awesome. Big shout out to MVS Crypto, the editor-in-chief and promotional lead for the Crypto Night Show. Is awesome stuff there. 2 weeks until 1 year too. That's the other thing. Monster Thread number 50, and that is the link there. All right, let me share that quickly. And there it is there. Bam. Check it out and share it around. Hit the repost button on as well. And if you requote, a chance that you will $50 up for today for 50 weeks. Pretty amazing stuff. 2 weeks to 1 year. Awesome. Onwards and upwards there. All right, so that's pretty much it. How am I doing? That's the link there. That's all right. All right, I think we're going to end the show. I'll catch you again on tomorrow's show. Tomorrow, we will be interviewing Morbius. Morbius is, I think it's probably our front-running gaming app on Pulsechain now. They've got, I think, poker tables, really good animations. Like, you got poker table there and people betting poker and other games like that. So we're going to have an interview with Morbius, and that's Kyle from Morbius. So that's going to be pretty exciting. Look forward to that tomorrow. I have to set it up after the show sometime, but that is coming tomorrow. So Morbius, another big team. And if you didn't check out Vouch with Jexa yesterday, check out that live stream as well. We're hopefully going to try and do 2 streams a week with teams. So hope you guys enjoy it. Take care and bye for now. That's all I can say. Up, and away.